All right, guys, check this out. So, if you look back in some of our videos, before I started working on my son's 10-inch Mello Helmet, I got to a point where this thing was all taped up and I'd sanded all the paint off. Because if you go back to some of those other episodes, you'll see where I screwed up. And I tried to do some patch paint work. That's a no-no. You either paint it right all in one swoop, and you don't go back and you try to patch it because you're just going to screw it all up. I'm not going to go into details about that. You're going to have to go back in some of the earlier episodes when I go into painting, which is after not using acrylic paint, oil-based paint, and you'll figure that out. But as you can see, this thing turned out really good. There's a nice sheen. You can see there's sort of a sheen on it, and it turned out really good. Actually, it was a lot of work to completely sand it, strip it, and I polished it up today. Used 1,000 grit after I used a whole entire can of clear on this thing. So links in the description for all this stuff. The clear coat I used, and I just kept going. And when I was painting it, I went like this, and then I went like this, and then I turned it with this side, and I hit the side of it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then up and down, up and down. Really, really, really light coats. I probably put 10 or 11 really light coats on this, and I did not. Oh, also because I had to sand it, when I painted it, it was real rough. So when I went and I used 1,000 grit and I wet sanded it, I sanded it, and then I went back and put a couple more, I think about 2 more coats of white on it, and I just happened to have the lights already in there, and so it turned out. So I was able to see if I had any like heavy spots, which was kind of nice, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's just too much work taping all this off, and then I had to go back and like really fine tune, clean around the edges. But it turned out good. All the edges are nice and smooth. But yeah, man, it was a job to say the least. But check this out. Turned out pretty sweet. If you reference my 10-inch, my son's 10-inch helmet, I had the same problem. Not as apparent here, but if you look real close, you can see kind of the goob from the hot glue gun. And so again, when you get to doing yours, if you haven't done this already, just make sure you do a very, very, very fine line of hot glue, or use you could probably even use super glue, just really fine, or crazy glue. That might even be, because you're going to need a lot less. You're just going to like really put a very fine line all the way around on the inside, obviously, of the right where the edge of the tint is on the inside, and then you won't have that goop mark. But as you can see, it turned out real good for my first helmet, going all the way around, and yeah, it turned out good. Even the let me show you. So unlike give me a sec. Unlike my son's helmet, this one's got a lip on it, and that goes all the way around. That turned out good. The key there, if you go back in some of the early episodes, when you glue on that ring, you're going to want to use a lot of the epoxy glue and really fill that in, because when I was sanding it down, there were some air gaps that were between the ring and the top, and that just doesn't cover with paint. So you got to make sure that's like, pack it on heavy, and then when you go to sand it, roll the edge, sand it out nice and smooth, and it'll turn out good. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this. This is just a random color pattern, but as you know, there's all kinds of color patterns. Also, in the video, I mentioned having two of the whatchamacallits, the remotes. If you like this design, and I need to contact because I have 2 different remotes. and the speed, the transition speed, not the speed of the effect, but the transition speed is not the same. I got to contact this. There's some way you can change the code on this, or the programming, to get the speed to be exact, because you can see the sequence. Well, this isn't even random. If you put it on, if you hit the green button and put it here, it's gonna go from mode to mode to mode. And the two remotes in my situation, and another bad thing is they're not the exact same. One's black and one's white, and so they do the exact same thing, but the speed of transition from one effect to the next is not the same. See, as you can see there, see how the bottom starts on this, and the top is still going, and it might have something to do with the actual speed here, and I've been messing with it. Because you can see this one's holding on this older pattern, and then eventually this will jump to the. See, this is already skipped the white dots. It's onto this one, and it may be related to there's more lights on this one than there is in this one. I'm not really sure, but I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to change the speed, because we're three feature, whatever you want to call it, three behind basically from this to this. Not the end of the world. Obviously, I can go manual and not do auto, and I can just do this and just manually go through. See, look at that. I just screwed that up. There we go. And so I can manually do that, which I'll probably do. But then it just stays on a. It's not like changing colors, which is not the end of the world. But if you're walking around and get your remote in your hand, you don't know what you look like because you're wearing it, and you can go through this. But this thing, because of how I built it and all the extra stuff I put in there, because it weighs a good bit. I'll weigh it and post in the comments how much this thing weighs. And so I don't know how long I'll be able to wear this thing, just because it's heavy. Also, just a sort of a best practice when you're deciding where to have the height of the helmet, if you can get your nose anywhere close to right here, to where when you're exhaling, if you go breathing out your nose, it goes down. You won't fog up this as much. If your nose is up here, when you exhale, this is going to start fogging up. I have the fan in there, which does give you a little slight breeze, but I'll see if it affects the battery at all. So I want to give you guys an update, so you can see it doesn't have that brown effect. I don't think you could see it from the last one, but this was all jacked up and brown, and some of the lights, it was brown. It looked brown here. Even my kids were like, "Oh wow, it looks so much better." But yeah. Give me a subscribe. I think my son, I think I might have commented another video. He's like, "You think we'll get 300 subscribers before Halloween?" I said, "I don't know. If people like this, maybe we'll get 300 subscribers." So that's his goal. If you like it, give us a subscribe. Share it with somebody. I actually I posted this on Reddit. Got some people to check it out, and even started a TikTok page. If you just do a search for hashtag Marshmello Helmet Builder, you'll see this and some other videos that I've put on there, kind of directing people back to this channel, because a lot of people are like, "Oh man, I want to get one of those," and I'm like, you can build one. My son's took about 3 weeks, where this took me about 9 weeks, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So comment below, give me your feedback, and again, if you're making one of your own, post it somewhere and share a link. I think that would be awesome. I'd love to see what everybody else is doing, and I'll talk to you later.